Election deniers are claiming victory this morning after three more Republican-led states announced they're pulling out of a national bipartisan program that helps protect against voter fraud.
I mean, it's backwards. You see, everything is backwards. A guy says, I am your retribution, who loses elections year after year after year. And now election deniers are actually celebrating making elections less secure.
Election officials in Florida, Missouri, and West Virginia informed the Electronic Registration Information Center, known as ERIC, that they are withdrawing from the voluntary group. ERIC is a little-known data-sharing consortium of more than 30 states that has helped keep voter rolls updated and free of opportunities for fraud. The organization requires member states to share data with one another from their voter registration rolls and motor vehicle records, and it helps states to identify and prosecute people who vote in multiple states. Right-wing critics have stepped up their attacks against ERIC following former President Donald Trump's false claims of voter fraud after the 2020 election. Supporters of ERIC say if the program collapses, the country would lose one of its most powerful tools for protecting against ballot fraud, just as states start preparing for the 2024 elections.
All right. So listen, Mike Barnicle, I absolutely hate. I really do. I hate talking about other networks. There's a lot we could talk about with other networks, but you can't tell this story without at least briefly touching on the New York Times story that took us behind the scenes at Fox News and having people at Fox News fired because they were so accurate analyzing the data. And then having people inside that network go, well, maybe our system that's state of the art, that's cutting edge, that allowed us to pick the winners of these states ahead of everybody else, well, maybe it's too good because it put us in a bad position.
Business.
Because people that watch our network on election night, their words, not mine. I think it's insulting to their viewers to say this about them, but they go, they don't really want to know the truth. They want to hear things that make them feel good. So here you actually have a network moving away from a system that was cutting edge, that helped them call Arizona first, that helped them call a lot of other states first because it's too accurate. And now you have states that are actually doing the same thing on a much larger, more important scale, saying, we don't want to be a part of this system. It's too accurate. It will follow the election returns and be too accurate. They don't want accurate elections. They don't want free elections. This is their post-truth world that they want to move to.
Joe, their business model is clearly ratings and revenue over facts and truth in the news. That's just the facts, and they prove it each and every day. They're still proving it. As you know, even over there in Abu Dhabi, I'm sure the word has reached you that last night, I think just last night, on that network, they had a cartoon about January 6th and about what happened. And it was laced with falsehoods all around the premise that the Democrats and the progressives in this country altered the reality of January 6th. And it was indeed not nearly as violent as we saw. We actually saw it live. Right. Playing out in front of the whole nation, the whole world, and yet now they're telling us, no, we were wrong. Your lying eyes were wrong.
Yeah, so Jim Messina, let's move beyond talking about other networks, and let's just talk about the practical impact of this. And I say this to my friends in the Republican Party, my former party, and I just can't explain it enough. When you now have members of Congress that are trying to turn rioters and people who tried to overturn American democracy, they're trying to turn them into political prisoners. They're trying to reshape reality. They don't understand that by bringing this up, they bring up a blight on American democracy, which is, of course, something that, if they're defending that, it's something that's just going to cost them more election victories in the future.
Oh, absolutely, Joe. It's political suicide. And it shows the weakness of Kevin McCarthy, that one of the first things he agreed to do was have more hearings on January 6th, was have a special committee take it down this stream. Swing voters were repelled by all of this. It's part of why the Democrats so overperformed in the 2022 election. And instead of putting all this behind them, instead of focusing on the swing voters that we know, you and I know, win these elections, they're going right back to the crazy parts of their base in a weird attempt to mollify these people. It makes no political sense. There's no one who could sit here and say, oh, this makes any political sense. And yet they're doing it, and they're just giving away votes. That and this absolute adherence to Donald Trump are the two strangest developments I've seen in modern American politics with the Republican Party. As a Democrat, I'm thrilled about it, but as an American, it's really scary, and you continue to not have a functioning major party in the Republicans.
Jim, you were so skilled at finding the path to victory a couple times for President Obama. Let's talk about if you were hypothetically running against Donald Trump, if you were Ron DeSantis, if you were Nikki Haley, or this other collection of people who may get into the race. Why aren't they taking him on in any serious way? Why is it all veiled references, or it's time for a new generation? Is it just too dangerous to upset the base? And if that's true, how do you win? How do you beat Donald Trump?
That's exactly right. At some point, you need to take off the gloves and have a fight. And they're just not willing to do it. They're pretending that he's going to go away on his own. They're pretending that this whole thing, that someone's going to indict him and he's going to kind of go away and they won't make their base mad. But what we know about Donald Trump is he's an amazing counterpuncher, Willie. And they know it too. And they're worried about getting in the ring with him because they're going to come out bloody. But eventually, to win the crown, you have to go fight. And the question is, who's going to be willing to do that? DeSantis has so far, to me, not been this great candidate that everyone thinks he's going to be, because he's unwilling to go in there and say no and start throwing punches. And to win the Republican nomination, especially with this base, you've got to do that. Skip and CPAC doing this other stuff shows you how worried they are about Donald Trump.